To start at the beginning of Final Fantasy A Realm Reborn is to miss a crucial plot point about the game. In actuality, we have to go back a little bit further, exactly 5 years prior to the beginning of the game, to something known as the 7th Umbral Calamity. The 7th Umbral Calamity was caused by the Garleans, the inhabitants of a place known as Garlemald, whose ambition knows no end and will not end till all of Hydaelyn is within their grasp. After gaining control of Ala Mhigo 15 years prior and beginning their first step in their conquest of Eorzea, they were hungry for more. They came up with the plan that used the lesser moon of Eorzea, Dalamud, to cause devastating amounts of damage to the landscape. This was known as the Meteor Project and was headed by a man named Midas Nan Garlond, known as the Father of Magitech. What the Garleans lacked in magical aptitude, they made up for in their technology, and this was the guy who started their technological advance. Using his gifted ability as an engineer, he was able to create machines that allowed Garlemald to invade and take control of its neighboring countries, and eventually take control of the entire continent known as Ilzabad. If his name sounds somewhat familiar, that is because he is actually the father of Sid Nan Garlond, the engineer that we meet in the base game, the current lead engineer of the Garlond Ironworks. The plan was simple: channel energy from Dalamud into a lunar transmitter, harness that power and aim it straight for Eorzea. This would allow Garlemald to invade a weakened Eorzea for an easy conquering. However, the project ended up being scrapped as Midas Nan Garlond found out that an Elder Primal named Bahamut resided within. Upon gaining contact with the moon, he ended up being tempered by Bahamut. Tempering is when a primal enslaves a being and turns him or her into their thrall. After being tempered, he became infatuated with the moon and tried any and all experiments he could to gain even more of a connection with Dalamud. However, one fateful day, he made a mistake and channeled too much of Dalamud's energy to Citadel Bozja, and instantly vaporized all the land and life nearby, killing himself and many others. After this, the current Emperor of Garlemald, known as Solus Sols Galvus, deemed the project unstable and scrapped it. 10 years after what was known as the Bozjan Incident, Neil Van Darnus, the current legatus of the 7th Legion, convinced Emperor Solus Sols Galvus to restart the Meteor Project, as he has found a way to control the moon's path and make it head straight for Eorzea. By using the transmitter the previous owner used, it allowed him to guide aether currents from Eorzea towards Dalamud, and slowly but surely guide it towards the Kairu Flats. The Warriors of Light knew about this and aimed to destroy the transmitter, but even in victory it was all in vain. Too long had the moon been hurtling towards Eorzea. Even with the lunar transmitter destroyed, Neil Van Darnus was able to cast the Meteor spell, something that was thought impossible for a pure-blood Garlean, as they lacked an affinity for magic. This kept Dalamud on track. Even with the defeat of Neil Van Darnus, the moon did not stop its descent. It seemed like nothing could be done to stop what was going to occur. All hope seemed lost, but Archon Louisoix stayed as reliable as ever. He asked the denizens of Eorzea to pray to the 12 at places he marked around the lands. Here he decided that the only way to repel Dalamud was to summon a primal incarnation of the 12 by using the aether gathered by people's prayers to avoid the upcoming calamity. Gaius von Belzar decided that he would stop Louisoix and allow the plan of his fallen leader to continue on. The Eorzean alliance, consisting of the Immortal Flames, the Maelstrom, and the Twin Adder, would not let this plan go to waste and set up a stronghold to defend Louisoix as he attempted to complete his ritual. A battle between the alliance and the remnants of the 7th Legion was going to happen at the Kairu Flats, also known as Ground Zero of Dalamud's impact. The battle was hard fought, but everyone's faith lied with Louisoix and the 12. He was Eorzea's Archon and had been such a bulwark figure throughout, so he must overcome this too and not let this astral era come to an end. Moments before Dalamud made contact with Eorzea, a piece of Dalamud fell and pierced into the land, halting the ongoing battle. Dalamud itself began to crack and split open to reveal that an elder primal named Bahamut resided within. In the time it took to take one breath, Bahamut decimated most of Eorzea. Finally free, he would see to it that the realms that trapped him within Dalamud for 5,000 years would feel his wrath. All hope is lost, except Archon Louisoix had a plan. He aimed to use the members of the Circle of Knowing, which are now known as the Scions of the 7th Dawn, to pray at the specific shrines around Eorzea that were dedicated to the 12, all at the same time. Their prayers caused the spell to erupt from each of the pillars. It was harnessed by Louisoix and sent straight towards Bahamut. It pierced him and attempted to ensnare him in a spell reminiscent of that at Dalamud. Louisoix was almost victorious, but Bahamut was too powerful, and in the end he broke out of the spell. All hope was lost, and Louisoix realized that nothing could be done, so instead of everyone dying here and now, he sent the Warriors of Light away to save their lives and left himself behind. The last moments we see of Archon Louisoix is Bahamut consuming his very being with his Terror Flare. I'm going to place a spoiler alert warning here. If you haven't ran the Coil of Bahamut raid, I suggest you go run it now and come back. This raid is filled with juicy little tidbits of lore that explain what happened here in more detail. It also contains a cutscene that changes what we know about the Battle of Cartanu. So if you want to see it for yourself, grab a few buds, unsync it, and see the cutscene for yourself. Otherwise, just queue it up and do it properly. Again, you have been warned. Moments before Louisoix was consumed by the Terror Flare, he was granted a vision by the 12, depicting him surrounded by 12 crystals. They are empowering him, infusing him with their aether. This was not all, as the people prayed for salvation from this calamity. Their prayers reached him and converted Louisoix into that of a primal. Empowered as he was, he attempted to create a barrier to block the Terror Flare, but Bahamut was just not in the mood, and forced the spell down, breaking the barrier. Just as the Terror Flare was about to make contact with Eorzea, in a last-ditch effort, Louisoix yet again pushed the Terror Flare back, firing a blast of aether through the spell, and ran right through it, causing crystallized aether to fly in every direction, morphing the lands forever. Eventually he reached Bahamut and pierced his chest. As Bahamut was defeated, Louisoix was no longer needed in this form, and immediately allowed his aether to disperse and rejoin Eorzea so that it could start anew. This ends the tale of the 7th Umbral Calamity. And there you have it, a recount of the 7th Umbral Calamity that was used to reset the game and made it into what it was today. It has been very interesting to research this topic, as a lot of lore is located in a version of the game that is inaccessible. The information is scarce, but finding out what happened and piecing it together has been an enjoyable task. If you enjoyed the video, I implore you to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Consider subscribing, as I'll be continuing the timeline, as this is only the first video of many. I thank you for your time. May you ever walk in the light of the crystal.